Good morning, everyone. Welcome on this Sunday morning. A warm welcome from the Department of English and IQAC of Sri Binzani City College. We are uh, we have gathered over here for the career-oriented diploma course. And as the students have been a part of this course since the 3rd of June, they have seen that we have dealt with basics of writing. We have given them a glimpse of what word power or what vocabulary enhancement skill means. We have also taken them into the interview side. That is, the first step would be to build their resume. So how do you write the resume is what we have seen yesterday. And today, to take it further, we have uh, a different kind of a session, different in the sense that something which will be useful to you when you enter into your office. Maybe a record, a meeting is held and a 3 or 4 page minutes are there. Now, when you have to just pick up the gist of it, when you have to condense the whole idea and form a paragraph out of it, you should not miss the main points. And at the same time, nothing excess should be there. So, how to go about it is going to be dealt with in today's lecture. So, this session is going to be conducted by uh, a known personality in the field of the fraternity of English, Dr. Nandita Mane. Let me, in a very brief way, give her introduction. Dr. Nandita Mane is an assistant professor in English at Matru Seva Sangha Institute of Social Work. She is an alumna of Hislop College, Nagpur, and has completed her graduation in 1998. She has done her MA English from RTM Nagpur University and SET examination in 2002. She has also done a short-term course on literary theories, theories of reading and writing, organized by the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. Dr. Mane has pursued her doctoral thesis on a study of traditional and innovative elements in the plays of Sir Alan Ayckbourn and was awarded the degree in 2015. She is also the course coordinator for certificate course in communicative English at her college. She is an examiner for communication skills and personality development of Nagpur University's Department of Distance and Adult Continuing Education. She is associated with Shakespeare Society of Central India and Center for Literary Interaction and Creativity. She is also a member of ISPEL, Indian Society for the Promotion of English Language and Literature, Vidarbha Forum. So, students, you must have known that you have got a versatile personality amongst you to teach you, to take you through the world of pressy writing or condensing an idea. On behalf of the Department of English of my college, that is Sri Binzadi City College, I welcome Dr. Nandita Mane to this forum. Ma'am?
Thank you, Dr. Pranjali. Thank you for your kind words. And good morning to all of our students on a Sunday morning. And today we'll be dealing with, as Madam told, pressy writing. Madam, may I start sharing my screen?
Yes, ma'am, sure. Ma'am, is there a fan going on at the background because some voice is coming? Can you
Yes, so
either?
should I?
Yes,
Okay,
please. Yes, please.
for that I'll have to move for a
You
second.
can switch off your video.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You can share your screen now.
Uh, Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. It's absolutely visible. Please go ahead.
Okay. Once again, good morning, everyone. So today's topic is pressy writing. Uh, it's a very important topic. It is one of an important writing skill, I should say. And let's get into the nuances of it. So, what is a pressy? Okay, first of all, this word comes from a French word. Okay, so it has origin from the French word. It's called pressy. The S is silent. So, pressy is a summary in which you create a shorter version of the original passage. So you are kind of summarizing it. It has all the important points which that passage has. So you have to really read the passage. If you want to do a Prezi, you have to read the passage and you have to cull out the important points. And it's a great exercise in compression. Okay. And the skill involves in explaining the heart of the matter in fewer words as possible. So you can say these are the important aspects of a Prezi. So before venturing further, we should know Prezi is a summary. You summarize the original passage. And this task, I think this exercise you will be requiring a lot when you begin your work life, when you venture further into your jobs. This task, you'll find it very, very useful. So let's see something more about Prezi. Again, I would put it in a different way. It is a concise summary of essential points. So, see, this is a very important aspect that the essential points you have to capture. Whatever the passage contains the essential points, that is what we have to capture. So, we should have an eye for detail. We should have an eye for detail. We should be able to locate the important points. And this is a very important skill, you know, going through, skimming it, scanning it, and then trying to look at the important ideas, important points, statements, facts. So whatever, that important aspect can be in the form of a statement, it can be in the form of a fact, point, in whichever way it has been presented. We should be able to follow it. Now, Prezi is not the only mode of compression, of making things concise. There are other things, like, as I told you, summary, Prezi, gist, abstract, paraphrase. So all these are, further exercises in compression, but then they all differ the degree of in the degree of meaning. They have some slight differences in meaning. Summary can be, when you summarize, it is up to the writer's will and his judgment to summarize it in whichever way he wants. So there's a lot of subjectivity. But in Prezi, subjectivity should not play an important role. You have to be precise and you have to have the important points. When in summarizing, it may not be that important. So similarly, there are other finer differences in gist, abstract, paraphrase. But today we are going to focus only on Prezi writing. Now let us see what are the features of Prezi writing. Now these are some important points before we get into it. Okay, first of all, the length. Abridged text, you know, the text which we shorten it. So when you read the original passage, you always have to remember that passage, when you shorten it, it has to be of a certain length. So it has to be 1/3 of the original text. So this length is very important. Second, the Prezi of a text should always be accurate, brief, and clear. It has to be to the point. It has to be on point. Because these are required at various levels when you work in office, and there are lots of reports being circulated, and then uh, the uh, the higher authorities, they would ask for this, the main points. Then at that time you cannot present them all these long reports. You have to read them, scan them, find the important points, locate them, and then present it in accurate, brief, and clear. So this saves time. Second, it is an indirect narration and past tense. Okay, it's not like we are presenting a story in direct narration. It has to be indirect. So these are some important points we have to understand before we get more deeper into this topic. The entire text needs to be summed up in a single paragraph. Okay, so you cannot like have too many paragraphs, otherwise you lose that point. No. So it should be written in your own words. This is very important. You cannot just take all the sentences from the original passage and just present it in short. No, it has to be written in your own words. So as I told you, it is an important skill, a skill which is developed with time. It takes little time and effort, but once you start doing it on a regular basis, I'm sure you will master the skill. And this is the correct time to start with this skill. And your college is organized at a wonderful time of your life. If you start from today, I'm sure within a couple of months you will be able to get the important, the final details of this. So let us go further. Now, what are the skills required for it? First of all, I've not put it in the correct order, but it just I have presented three, but there'll be more. And I would, if somebody else is interested in participating, you can also let me know what are the other skills required for Prezi. That's why I didn't write a long list. I want this class to be participatory. So I would really appreciate if the students who are present will participate. Um, so reading is very essential. You should have good reading. You should read with comprehension. Your reading skill has to be really apt. Uh, Vocabulary. When you're reading, you should be able to understand the words which are employed by the writer, the words used in the passage. Focus, attention. Everything starts with your mind. Your mind has to be really alert, agile, to be, it has to be receptive to all the information which is presented before you. So these are some of the basic skills required for Prezi. And if you have these skills, you'll not just be able to do a good Prezi, you'll be able to, solve many other exercises, tasks, areas. If somebody wants to share what more skills are required, they are welcome. I can't wait too much for your response. If you are very quick, I would appreciate that. Okay. Now, let us see what are the steps involved in this. So as I told you, a passage is in front of you. So what is the first thing you do? First thing is reading. First round of careful reading of the passage to understand what it is about. Okay. Um, so reading plays a very important role, reading with comprehension. And then once you read that passage, this is the first round of reading. There'll be, you can have two more rounds depending on how much time you take to understand, to gain comprehension of the passage. It depends, but minimum 2 or 3 reading rounds of reading are required, at least 2. Okay, the first round of reading only helps us in, uh, you know, introducing us to the topic, to the idea. Then the second, you go a little more deeper. So at the end of this preliminary reading, you may ask yourself, what is the theme of the passage? You have to ask yourself. And you have to answer it yourself. So supposing a passage is of say 150 words, then the all the lines cannot be about the theme of the passage, isn't it? It will be about, there'll be many other things. So you have to, among this crowd of words, you need to find out the theme of the passage. Then what are the main ideas? What are the main ideas the writer or the passage tells us? And then lastly, you can see how these ideas are arranged, in what logical order. So these are some of the questions you can ask yourself at the end of this preliminary reading. Later we have a text, we shall apply all these uh, steps on that text. But first, I think you all should understand what are the steps involved. And then later on, we will apply this on one text, which we will solve it. Now, After first round of reading, what do we need? Second, again. Second round of reading to decide what parts are comparatively unimportant. Now, this is an important skill, culling out the important parts, what are the parts which are relevant, which are not relevant. And if you find that this is the theme, so you focus on that, and then the parts which are not important, they can be left out or shortened. And then there'll be the text may have a lot of repetitions, illustrations, examples, anecdotes, allusions, references, many things. You need not repeat them in your pressing. They are not required. At this point, you may underline the main points to find out what is important, what is not, so that when you write your first draft, you just pick up those important points, shorten it in your own words, and then your first draft is prepared. At least 2-3 drafts you require, depending on how skillful you are with words, how skillful you are with presenting your ideas into words, how translating your ideas, translating the ideas contained the passage into words. It all depends on that. So at this stage, we prepare a draft. We avoid the words of the original as far as possible. Don't worry, we will be having a text, so all these things will be clear, but you should know the steps involved so that when we do a text, everything you'll remember. So you have to avoid the words of the original as far as possible. Try, because it has to be in your own words. Then you have to revise your draft and then make a fair copy of this pressing. Again, I told you at least 2 drafts are required, 2 to 3. But if you're very, very skillful in first draft itself, if you can make it fair, wonderful. But it would be better if we go, if we take, if we venture gradually in this process, at least 2-3 drafts, you should be able to prepare. So the whole thing is condensing. The whole art of pressing is condensing. Condensing matlab to make it, condense it, to make it short. Just the pure, the essence of it, leaving out every non-detailed, unimportant aspects, and just taking the fresh, the condensed version of the text. Now, how do we do this? So there are certain devices. Each of these devices I shall explain you with examples. This will be helpful not just for pressing, but it will be helpful in even as a good language skill. It will be helpful in writing, in any of your composition. This will come as a handy. So how do we condense it? The contents of the passage. So there are some devices. First is substitution. Now, what are these? Each I shall explain you in the further slides. Then second is specificization, avoidance of repetitions, ruling, drafting. So let us begin with how do we condense the ideas, the sentences. So I will give you some examples. Substitution. Can somebody read?
Students, you need to participate in this. Can someone read this? Ma'am is asking you.
Substitution example. A man who has been playing cricket for many years has suddenly decided to leave India and settle abroad.
So how many words does it contain? 19, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, don't you think there are so many words? Now, how can we shorten it? So what have we done? A man who has been playing cricket for many years. Now, it's a long phrase. So how do we condense it? So a man who has been playing cricket for many years, that means he'll be very, very, what do we say, skillful in his own job. He'll be very senior. He'll be expert. So you use the word veteran. a veteran Indian cricket player has decided now to leave India and settle abroad. So what is that process called? It's migration. So how do you shorten it? A veteran Indian cricket player has decided to migrate. So from 19 words, we come to 9 words, isn't it?
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
Such a huge difference. So for this, as I told you, what are the skills required? Vocabulary. Your vocabulary has to be really good. You should be able to know what you must be having in your text, that exercise, give one word substitution. So this is what it helps. So you should have, you should keep reading. You should develop your vocabulary. So this is how we condense it into 9 words. Um, so let us go to another example. Specifization. Can somebody read this?
Yes, ma'am. It is the process of using specific verbs in lieu of the general term.
Yeah, so
And
it is, sorry. So it is, what is specifization? You use specific words instead of general terms. So yeah, you please read the sentence, the question and announcement. Yeah.
an announcement was made by the president that a revision would be made in the government's employment program.
So how many words are there?
18 words.
18 words. Now, don't you think 18 words are too long? Now, let's see if we can shorten it. So an announcement was made. So what happens? Announcement is a noun. Now we will turn it into verb. So announcement was made by the president. So what we come to it, the president announced. Simple. And instead of saying an announcement was made by the president, we simply be specific and substitute as the president announced. We made that announcement verb noun into a verb. Announced that the government would revise its employment program, that a revision would be made. Instead of saying that, we say government would revise its employment program. So revision is a noun. Again, we come back to revise it. A verb. We use specific verbs instead of general terms. Okay, so from 18 words, we shorten it to 7 words. So this was an example specialization. One more example we can do. Please read on your screen.
After your completion of the registration process, proceed directly to the department.
12 words. Instead of using so many words, we can just say after you register, after your completion of the registration. It's good. At times it is required to be a little lengthy, but when you are doing a pressing, then you have to get rid of extra words. So we get rid of your completion of the registration. We just say after you register, proceed to the department, directly to the department. No need of using the word directly here. So that is an extra word. So see, this is how you have to find out what are the extra words and how we can make it short. But at the same time, it should not lose its meaning. This is an important skill you have to remember, that it should not lose its meaning, and it should be grammatically correct as well. So you have to keep a balance of these two things. You just don't go on a cutting spree that you just keep cutting all the random words, and you don't, even if the sentence doesn't make sense at the end. No, it has to be grammatically correct, and it has to be it does not have to lose its meaning. So from 12 words to 7 words we have done. So that was example of specialization. Now repetition. Please read.
One of the clerk's responsibilities is the compiling of time and attendance reports. These time and attendance reports go to the branch secretary, who verifies that the information on each time and attendance report is accurate and complete.
How many words?
38 words.
So now see, what words are repeated? Can you just tell me? What are the words that keep repeating?
Attendance.
Correct. reports, time, so many every time it's been one of the class responsibilities is compiling time attendance report. Then these time and attendance reports. So once when you have mentioned time and attendance report, you don't have to again repeat it in your next sentence. So let's just come see the example. Now, can you read it?
One of the clerk's responsibilities is the completing of time and attendance report for the branch secretary, who verifies that the information is accurate and complete.
So last time we had 38 words. Now we've reduced to 26 words. So see how many words we have just got rid of. So we just have time and attendance reports used once. Are you all getting everyone? So
Yes.
yeah, so this is how see this will take a little time, but once you get into it, you will uh, become skillful. Skill doesn't come in just one day. For that, you have to really work on it sincerely. So these are the examples, some of the examples. I cannot give more because of time constraints. There are many more. I mean, just on one aspect, we can go even in depth. Avoidance and repetition, what ways avoidance, how do you avoid how things are repeated. We can have a different session, but then we don't have that much time. That is why I'm just giving basic examples, at least one or two examples of each, so that you get an idea. Uh, Second is pruning. Uh, Pruning, what is pruning? Again, you must have seen how the gardeners come and they prune the trees and the bushes and the shrubs, and then after pruning all the unwanted shrubs and leaves and dry leaves, and then the whole thing becomes very beautiful. The garden looks beautiful because it's been pruned well. Similarly, your writing, you've written your teacher asks you to write a paragraph on yourself or any one topic, and you keep writing so many words. But then when you sit for editing it, then you realize there are so many extra words that has to be pruned. And then once you do it, you are amazed at your own composition. Oh, what a beautiful thing as it has turned out to be. So what are these? So pruning refers to the deletion of the information which does not directly contribute to the major theme of the passage. So as I told you, first we need to look at the theme, and then only based on the theme we can decide what are the sentences which do not uh, directly contribute to the theme. So this can be done at the three levels: secondary statements, anecdotes, and wordiness. Let us see secondary statements. Can somebody read?
Many people in urban areas take to various kinds of crimes. Some of them do so because they have no employment. There are more people in cities than there are jobs for them, and that is why there is a problem of employment in cities. Others indulge in criminal activities as they fall in the company of bad people. This happens because the parents in cities have no time to keep a watch on the activities of their children. There are a total 79 words.
Yes. So now how many words it comes to?
79.
79.
Now what happens here, the first sentence is explanatory. Many people in urban areas take to various kinds of crime. Now this is an important thesis statement. Now the second and the fourth statement, if you see the lines, they are just supporting the first sentence. So you need not take those sentences which are again elaborating on the first sentence. See, when you say many people in urban areas take to various kinds of crimes, so that is understood. Now, why do they do? Because they have no employment. You need not go further. So there we can edit. So this is how the second and the fourth statements are secondary statements. So you have to see the primary statement. One sentence will be given, which is important. Then the other sentences may be explaining the same sentence. So this we need to uh, find out which are important, which are not. And then when we prune it, now somebody read it.
Many people in urban areas take to various kinds of crimes. Some of them do so because they are unemployed, and others indulge in criminal activities because they fall in the company of bad people.
So last time it was 79 words, and now we come to 35 words. So what we've taken, many people in urban areas take to various kinds of crime. So we've repeated here, many people, can you see, many people in urban areas take to various kinds of crime. Now what we've done is, we have mentioned the fact that many people resort to crime. And then the second sentence, we tell them what are the reasons for doing so. Some of them do so because of unemployment and criminal activities because they fall in bad company. So out of this, we have taken the important aspects. So this whole passage, what does it tell? People in urban areas resort to crime, and then we just take why do they resort to crime. So one is unemployment, and the other is bad company. So can you see how we have located the important point? So this the theme of the passage is people in urban area and crime. So these are the keywords. Now, why? The reason. No employment. And then if you read further in this, you will find that others indulge in criminal activities. Now, the last point, this happens because the parents in cities have no time to keep you may you may get rid of it. So we get out of 79 words, we come to this 35 words. So this is the revised version. So this is how you have to do. You have to read the passage, find out the important theme. What is the theme? Important line which states a theme. And then you have to see whether the other lines which are following are repeating the theme, are they supporting the theme, or they're saying something else. So if they are giving some examples, you can give away, or you can combine the examples, like the reasons. Unemployment and criminal activities have been taken together. In the previous passage, it was described separately. We've clubbed them together. That's it. So this is how we get it. We'll do one more. Yeah, now we come to our main thing, Précis writing. This is how we will do. Somebody will read it.
He was particularly detailed in his description of the wonderful English styles in clothes, in brackets, which he saw. The sahibs and the lawyers and the chaprasis and the policemen wearing at the district court in the bracket, where he had to wait for the journey home at the back of Lalla Hukam Chand's Paheton. And once or twice he expressed to me a secret wish he had to steal some money from the pitcher where his mother kept the emoluments of his professional skill to buy himself a rig out like that of Kalan Khan, the dentist who he said performed miracles in the town, fitting people with rows of teeth and even new eyes. He described to the appearance of Kalan Khan, a young man with hair parted on the one side and dressed in a starched shirt with an ivory color and bow tie, a black coat and striped trousers, and a wonderful rubber overcoat and pumps. He recounted to me the skill with which the magician unpacked an Angrezi leather handbag and flourished his shining instruments.
Okay. So this is a passage, and I've not counted the words of the passage, so it doesn't matter. So this is a passage. I believe this passage is familiar to you. It is from the Barber's Trade Union, a short story. I don't know if you've read that story, but this particular thing, passage is from there.
The students, some of them are from BA second year, so they are familiar with this text, but some of them are not art students. So maybe they will be reading this for the first time.
No problem, nothing. Thank you. So this is a passage which talks about the clothes, the way he dresses. So now let us see what we can do with this passage. We've done the reading of the passage. So after reading the passage closely and understanding its subject matter, what do? We note down the important points. So I hope you can sit with your pen and pencil and you can do the exercises with me here, so that later on it will be helpful for you to do exercises on your own when your teacher gives you some task. So we note down the important points, okay? Then we note down keywords. After we take points and then words, okay? Then we need to reduce sentences into phrases or words, okay? So a lot of phrases are given, you just reduce them into one or two words, just like I showed you in how substitution, specification, pruning, how we did it. Then we need to begin writing. We need to organize our sentences coherently into 1/3 of the passage. So now let us begin this. Now, what are the important points in the passage? The important points in the passage, if you've observed closely, is the description of Kalan Khan's costume and his professional skill. So what he was wearing, how he was wearing, all those descriptions are given. And then the impact of Kalan Khan, the narrator, the clothes, the way he dressed himself, how impressive it was for the narrator. So the passage also tells you this. So these are the important points of the passage. The English styles and clothes of the sahibs, the lawyers, the chaprasis, and the policemen. How various people clothe themselves. So these are the important points in the passage. So we have found out. Okay. Now, if we go further, we shall see keywords used in the passage are. What are the keywords used? If you see there are, it talks about how his shirt was. It was starched shirt. It had an ivory collar, bow tie. See, it's all about clothes and how what impact it had on the narrator. The black coat, stripped trousers, rubber overcoat, palm. So these are the keywords. This is after wearing all these things, it made that individual stand out, prominent, wearing all these things. So we have what we did in the previous slide. We saw the important points. Again, let me go back. This is what you have to do when you have a passage in front of you. You need to read the passage closely, not once, at least twice and thrice. No harm if you read it 3 times. No harm. It will, in fact, do you good. So you need to read the passage closely, understand the subject matter. Then you need to note down the important points, note down the keywords, reduce sentences and phrases into reduce sentences into phrases or words. And then this is what we come across. These are the important points we collect: the description of Kalan Khan's costume, the impact of Kalan Khan, the narrator, the English styles in clothes of the sahibs, all these things. So the boy Chandu in the story, he gets very impressed of Dr. Kalan Khan when he is, apparelled in such glorious clothes. They are not glorious, but then he's a poor boy and he feels, oh wow, wonderful, such nice clothes. I wish I could wear it. So it tells you about that. And then we come to the keywords. These are the keywords we get. So the clothes had these elements, these features. They were starched, then collar was ivory and rubber coats and so many things. Okay. Now there are certain phrases in the passages. Just like we'll go back to the passage, and then in the first line, he was particularly detailed in his description of. Now this, how many words it comes to? Can somebody tell me? From he to of?
10 words, ma'am.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 words. He was particularly detailed in the description of. These are about 8 words. So instead of that, we can say he gave a vivid account of. He gave a vivid account. So instead of using so many words in that sentence, we reduce it into saying he gave a vivid account. He was particularly detailed in the description. Instead of saying that, he gave a vivid account. Now, then we have the wonderful English styles in clothes. Okay, we have a sentence here, the wonderful English styles in clothes. That can be reduced and you can say the wonderful uniforms. You can just say wonderful uniforms. Okay, you can also say that way. Or if you get another better word for it, you use it. Again, language is like, it's like a sea, it's an ocean. You have many, and You don't have to stick to those regular synonyms. You have to, explore and find out and experiment and try. But this will come later. Once you've mastered the skill, then you try to use new words, different words, words which are exciting, words which are interesting, words which, push you to do something unique. So then you can use it. Now, the sentence which says the sahibs, the lawyers, and the chaprasis are the officials of the district court. Therefore, now hold this the sahibs, the lawyers, and the chaprasis. So instead of saying there, we can say therefore the entire phrase can be reduced to the officials of the district court. So sahib, lawyers, chaprasis. These three words you can omit. Instead of that, you can use one word, officials. These are all officials, isn't it? Instead of saying the sahibs, the lawyers, and the chaprasis, what you say? The officials of the district court, isn't it? So this is how you have to reduce words. Now, there is this phrase, the rows of teeth, isn't it? There is this phrase with the rows of teeth. It can be substituted of just one word, denture, denture. So you can use the word denture instead of saying the rows of teeth. You can use one word, denture. Then there are words like shirt, collar, tie, coat, trousers, overcoat, and pumps are different items of the dentist's dress. So instead of mentioning each word, you just can say the costume. You can use the word costume or the uniform of the doctor, because these come under that. You can just say costume, clothes. You can just say various clothes. You can just use the word various clothes. You don't have to say shirts and collars and ties and coats. They all come under the grouping of clothing. So you can say various clothes. Now, starched, ivory, bow, striped, black and leather, all these words have been used to give a glamorous effect to the dentist's dress. So these words can be replaced by glamorous. So we can just use the word the glamorous outfit instead of mentioning one by one what are those glamorous outfits. You can just say glamorous outfits. So after editing, after making it short, after finding out what are the important points and important words, this is what we get. The answer to it. Can somebody please read it?
He gave a vivid account of Karan Khan's glamorous costume and professional skill as dentist who could miraculously give dentures and new eyes to people. The dentist costume impressed him so intensely that he once or twice wished to steal money to buy a set for himself. He also described in detail the uniforms of the district court officials and the policemen, 64 words.
Yeah. So see how beautiful it has been edited. Instead of using all those words, you have just clubbed it with certain phrases. So he gave a vivid account instead of saying he was detailed in his description of so and so. So this is how we need to do it. Now, if you, I think I would just give you a certain exercise right now. I shall give you one sentence. Just. If you can write down, I'll give you a sentence. Everybody, if you have pen and paper ready, just one sentence, you shorten it, and then our class is like over. It is my opinion. Are you all writing?
Yes, ma'am.
It is my opinion that the cooperation shown by the employees and cooperation shown by the management was responsible for last month's increase in sales. Have you all written?
Ma'am, can you please repeat?
Yes, it is my opinion that the cooperation shown by the employees and cooperation shown by the management was responsible for last month's increase in sales. We'll do this last and then we wind up. Written, everyone? Now, it comes to 26 words. Now, how can you reduce it? Quickly in 2 minutes, if you can do it, fine. Otherwise, I'll tell you the answer and we can wind up. So this is an exercise in condensing. It is my opinion that the cooperation shown by the employees and cooperation shown by the management was responsible for last month's increase in sales. If you're ready with your answer, please let me know. So if you can see, the cooperation word has been repeated twice. So we can avoid that thing. Are you all trying the answer or should I tell you the answer?
Ma'am, we'll give them 2 minutes time.
Yes.
They will have another text also in the Google Classroom, wherein they'll get a chance to minimize it 1/3 and then submit it. So that
Okay.
will be their practice session also.
Yes. Ma'am, this is my last sentence. Once I finish this, then we can wind up the class. All the points I have explained.
Sure, ma'am.
Madam, should we wait for them?
Students, anybody trying that out?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
Ma'am has
you can-
already, yes, she has given you hints. The word cooperation comes twice.
Shown by also comes twice, if you can see.
Ma'am, shall I answer?
Yeah, sure.
In my opinion, the cooperation shown by employees and management have helped increase the sales.
Wonderful, wonderful, truly wonderful. You have very beautifully condensed it. You can also omit if you want. It is my opinion. That's even that can be omitted because nobody is asking whose opinion it is. The point is the cooperation shown by the employees and the management was responsible for last month's increased sale. Wonderful. So now, how many words do you get? You remove it is my opinion also. Now count how many words?
Anita, please count the words and tell ma'am. Yes, I think Shruti Kadhav has also tried doing it. The cooperation shown by the employees and management was responsible for the last month's increase in sales.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so glad that I am sitting with such smart students. Wonderfully, you've picked it up. Very nice. So we have reduced cooperation twice, shown by that even also we've reduced it, and we've combined the employees and management together. Wonderful. So this is how we need to condense it. There'll be various types of sentences. Each sentence will be different. It will have its own rhythm, its own syntax, its own you know nuances, and but it'll be fun to, and that's the beauty of language. It's never the same. It's never the uniform. There's no uniformity. Each sentence is different. It's like an ocean. Once you step into it, it's never the same water. So we need to master this beauty of language, and we need to be able to say the same thing in different words, in precise words. And thank you everyone for being patient listeners. And I would, can I stop my screen, madam?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Please stop your screen sharing. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Um,
so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. This is all I had to share with you all. There's more to it, but in 1 hour we cannot go further. But if you're interested, you all, we can do some more about it in future. Thank you so much, Pranjali, madam, and your college. I'm really grateful to your college for giving me an opportunity to be amongst such wonderful and smart students who, even on a Sunday morning, they spared the morning, their holiday, and they are joining us. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Nandita ma'am. This has truly been a pleasure having you over here. And I'm sure this is going to help students. What I could understand from this is the most important thing in solving this is revisiting the text. What happens usually is when we read something, we understand the gist of it and we just move ahead. Instead of doing that, if we read it again and again, that's the key. If you want to reduce something, or even if you want to increase the length of a text, it is very important for us to read it again and again. The comprehension passages, for example, these students do have seen unseen passages, or the comprehension passages where the questions are asked. To understand any text, first you have to know about the general meaning of what that text is about. Maybe it is about pollution, maybe it is about computers, but you will understand truly when you read it again and again and understand all the words. And that is where we had the second session, word power, that is vocabulary enhancement skill. Because instead of just beating around the bush, you can use the exact words, like ma'am also just now told us about how to condense it. Like the word was veteran, somebody who is an expert in his or her own field and is a senior person working in that field, maybe a cricketer, maybe a singer, maybe anybody. So that one word is veteran. That is what we also dealt with in the earlier sessions. So it's the student's job now to find out these words. One word substitution was a very good idea of the university when we had it in our syllabus. So that also gives them an extra edge when they are finalizing the Prezi. On behalf of the Department of English, I'm truly grateful to Dr. Nandita Mane, who has been here on a Sunday morning explaining all the nuances of Prezi writing. I call upon Anita Tekam, one of the students, to propose a formal vote of thanks. Anita, you can take over.
Yes, ma'am. A very good morning to sir and ma'am and the students who have joined the session. I would like to express my gratitude toward the principal of my college and the teachers who have started this program. It is very helpful. If my opinion is any of, I mean, it is very helpful for a good career choosing. Nandita ma'am, the way you have explained us the process of condensing an idea, I'm sure we all have done it in the past, as the question posed just summarize the paragraph, but the all the points you have given us for the effective way to do it, I'm sure we are going to find it easy from now on. Thank you very much for your valuable time to give us, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. How sweet.
Yes, I'm also thankful from on behalf of my college. And we will end this session over here. But students, you have to visit the Google Classroom now for further things. Thank you so much, Nandita ma'am.
Thank you.